Welcome. This is FC Talk, the 11th episode of my podcast about my vision, art career, and about the things that happen in my life regarding my artistic nude photography. In this episode, we'll talk about first a certain kind of fog of war, as I call it, that resides, we can say, within the external or beginner people that they haven't solved any artwork, or the external one, the relatives, the friends, the enthusiasts of the same type of artwork they produce, and what instead is the very varied and nuanced opportunities that are numerous and that are the real reality about what is an artist's business, an artist's life nowadays, in these very days. Second, we talk about the new content I'm producing every Wednesday on my blog, my art nude history, that is very fun, inspiring, useful, but we'll talk when we'll arrive there. And in the end, third, we'll talk about a possible project that is actually in study. It could happen, but it is not certain, about the evaluation of how went this 2025 year for me. If things goes well, I will launch what I've called Project Celebration 25. But now let's jump to the first topic, the fog of war, and what really it is to live a life as an artist nowadays. So it is the way I use this term. Fog of war comes from a military field. It refers about the terrain that is not known, but I use it about the very confusing notions that bombard the ears of beginner artists, because naturally everything I say is related to my personal experience. I live in Italy, that is a nation that has murdered its whole cultural field, from publishing to music to other creative careers. And let's move on. And then one of the first things that you hear here is with art you don't eat. There is no possibility to make a career, to pay bills, pay rent with creative work here. This is an external conception. Evidently, who says that this has no experience, has no interest in the field. It's simply an ignorant idea, and the beginner artists have not to listen this. Absolutely not. Other misconceptions maybe comes from the enthusiasts of a certain field. I do photography. We have plenty of groups of photography enthusiasts that think that to have success with photography you need to be technically perfect, because who is a professional is someone that has a great style, but his style comes from technical expertise, and obviously you need to buy the latest and greatest gear, naturally. This is a total misconception. People that say this are enthusiasts of the genre, but surely they are not inside the really world of paid professional photography, and above all art photography. Another that is more inner, I would say, but it is wrong anyway, idea that produce confusion is that art is like business, totally, 100%. And citing what I think was Andy Warhol, they say that the higher example of art is a business. I didn't set it correctly, but the meaning is more or less this, and I am totally contrary to this concept because I've studied business. There is one crucial difference between an artist and a businessman. The businessman study the market and works to produce what the market wants. Not only that the market knows, or maybe it don't know, but the real artist don't work satisfying the others, is unfocused, could produce sloppy results. A real artist, a real personal style doesn't come from satisfying the others, producing for others, or from technicality perfection. It comes from inside, from each one that has something to say, one that has maybe a difficult life and has to purge negative experience, like Lucien Leclerc, whose young life has been very difficult because he were born some year before Second World War. He witnessed the destruction, a great number of dead people. His family broke up, even independently from war, but he lived really traumatic times. And then, when he had the occasion to grasp in his hands a camera and having some basic information about photography, went to shoot the dead bull in a corrida, gypsies that performed singing and playing instruments in the ravine of a neighborhood of Leclerc's house, and obviously he made a counterpart starting shooting a naked woman on the beach. And then he went to Pablo Picasso, showed him his first works, and then it was history. This means that real artists work because they have something inside them that push outward, and they have to express it. It's an act of self-expression, and we don't have to forget this idea, false idea, that making art is like making a business, that is 100% a business, has circulated in the Italian publishing world. But the Italian publishing world has crashed. This way they have ruined an entire creative sector. In 2010, Italy had 50% of its population as strong readers and had 10% of occasional, saltuary, weaker readers. From some year, Italy has dropped that number to 30-33%. the only country in the Western world. Because if you look at the studies of the percentage of readers in Western Europe, you see that even Spain surpasses other country have more still reads. I don't want this to happen to photography and to art photography, so I repel with all my strength this false notion. And after all, people knowing how the market nowadays, these years, art market works in Italy is rare. Outside, the market pays well, and they earn money outside the art school. In art school doesn't teach people who are really competent. But what is the reality? For now, because I cannot make a very big, long episode wholly dedicated to this argumentation, I can tell you that someone who produces visual artwork naturally has to master its technique first, then having something to say, start to experiment and breaking those rules to establish a visual narration of what he has to say. Then it starts to promote, trying to make this experimentation evaluated for open calls of international magazines or expositions. It will be good at the very start to attend some good school of your genre, not the very expensive academies. They are not worth 50,000 euros for 1 year of academy in photography or other fields. No, you don't need to spend that much. There are other, at least I know for photography. For photography, there are schools. Maybe they are studios that makes courses about photography with real teachers that comes from the field, because they have worked or are working in the field, and they ask only 200, 300 euros per 2 months or 3 months of course. This is not cheap, it's not free, but surely is more affordable. And as happened to me, you can meet a great teacher that can change the way you look at your genre. You start to learn very much. And then after this is all preparation. The preparation is creating always in every creative field. You have to create a starting portfolio for art in photography. In art photography, this portfolio can come from publications on serious international magazines and or exhibitions. Even here there are dangers and there is scam everywhere. But it is really easy to identify, because galleries that are real and good galleries where you can be selected, they don't ask you money to be exposed. It doesn't work that they say, oh, your work is great, pay me 500 euros and I will expose you. It doesn't work this way. A real gallery earns money from a quota, from the every sale of your work that they can sell. They don't earn from people the beginner people that has to be exposed there. The same thing is to say to the magazines. If the magazine asks you money to be selected, it's not a photography magazine, it's a brochure, it's an advertisement folio. It has no value. But there are, I can testify, there are yet, even in art nude photography, that is a niche, there are places, there are magazines that accepts work even from beginners. If they like it, they select it, and you start to have your first publication, and one after another you reach towards maybe, it's not a certain number, but maybe 12, 15 publication or exhibition, a body of selected from others work that you can collect it, maybe print it and bring it to you, and that is your way to get known. You say, I'm a published and an exposed art photographer, this is my portfolio, and that you get the credibility that a beginner has to build. When you have done this, then you can think to open an account on online gallery, maybe. Naturally, if you live in Paris, in London, New York, in Los Angeles, maybe it would be better for you to go and start visiting very often every opening of new expositions, art fairs, that I'm sure in those places there is at least one every month. I don't live in such a place. For all the others, they live in poor and imploded nations. Art gallery online like Artlist, Artfinder or Such Art or others can be a good place, and you can start selling there. After you have to build your website, obviously your art website, because a web gallery needs an artist website to be a complete funnel system that can convince art collectors to pay for your artwork. And this is a first phase, and yes, it's a work that requires time, but I obtained around, we'll see at the end of December, but I obtained around 10 publications in 1 year, one web exposition. Maybe I will obtain more at the end. We'll talk more after this part. So it's possible to be not one day from another, but a year can be a good time. A year and a half, and in a year and a half you can complete and start opening this gallery, web gallery profile, and start selling there. Once you did this, then if the things starts to go well, it depends on what you produce. Every media has its nuances, its differences, but you can open a Patreon account and receive every month something. You can start a YouTube channel maybe if your work is family friendly. I cannot, as an art nude photographer, I cannot open a YouTube channel. I have more difficulty from this point of view. But there is, if it starts to go well, you're selling from galleries, while you continue producing, while you continuing to trying to get selected in publications and expositions, you can expand there and start, I've said, a Patreon. you can start producing projects like calendars, book guides, photography books, or art books if you are in another field. Then, if you grow yet more, the exhibition are only one doesn't count much, but if you start to having this even more than 2-3, you start to go, even if you come if you don't live exactly in the artistic city like Paris, London, New York, maybe 2-3 times a year. Now it would be a good idea to start to go in art fairs or exhibition openings and start knowing people. You start constructing your network people, and there you can start selling no more from the gallery but directly to the people you know, and this create another stream. This allows you maybe even to rise the price after a while. If this works, consider there are other fields for you to obtain money. For instance, the real estate market, those one that sell high value properties, buildings or apartments, their objective is obtaining the best sell with the highest price. To help them to have a high price, they need artwork with which put on the walls of the apartment on sale. And in that case, they don't buy one only image. From you, they can buy the whole lot. It can be 6, 8, 10 or more images, making you earn a big amount in one hit. And if you are fast, if you deliver, if your discount plan going well the first time, can earn you a foot in another field when there can be other occasion to have such big sales. At this point, if this goes well, the problem is not the problem or the confusions that comes from external people that don't know exactly what happens. Problem maybe if you are in Italy, you have a maximum of money you can earn every year, that is 85k. If you earn more than 85k before taxes, for instance, you can't have the partita IVA forfettaria, the facilitated partita IVA with taxes at 15%. You will jump immediately to the more taxated, less favorable, ordinary partita IVA. But in that case, there are workarounds that I say that if having this problem, starting from zero, starting from Italy that has no more an artistic scene, it will be a sweet first world problem. I welcome it. I hope next year, 2026, to have this problem. I hope really much. And then I will try to, with my fiscalist, to discover how can I have less pressure on my business, but it will be really a big feast for me. But other than this, you can have your source of income from many other things. If in the meantime that you made this journey that I've discovered, in the meantime you had open Patreon. If Patreon grew around 50 or 100 people, you can start with merchandising, selling artwork images printed on shirts, t-shirts, mugs, and whatever. Then at this point, if you establish a gallery selling, merchandise selling, even real estate selling, I think that you could be entitled even to teach others. You have shown at this point how you understand the market, how you can make it work. That could be really a good thing. After that, returning to my personal experience, art nude photography is not well to be told on a YouTube channel, but sometimes the fashion photography world can come and ask me or any other that does serious work in this field can ask to do a campaign, a paid campaign or paid editorial. As my articles, history of photography articles tells, there is no separation from nude photography with fashion photography. Obviously, another field that a bit after you start selling from online galleries can be obviously the commissions. And commissions can have a bad reputation, but it's being a fact of relationships depends on the person who commissions you a work, an artwork. It could be even a good and satisfactory experience for the both of you. And this was the first subject. Going to the second, from the point of view of what I've said before. At this point, I am yet in the preparation. I needed to change the way I talk about my images. This from the art coach that consulted me. And for this, a new thing that I can tell you that from the last episode didn't happen before. Now I have on my website free, and I'm working for the fourth, art nude photography history articles, and even on my Patreon. In both these places, I finally recovering a style of communication that has been mine in the past before starting studying photography, because in the past I had a past of activity, never paid activity in the publishing world. That's why I know it so well. I know how to talk emotionally. I'm very satisfied with the work I'm doing. I'm happy about it, and happy because I'm starting to put out my emotions, talk about the meaning and why I make these images instead of talking on how I made it. And that is a really good thing, a thing that will accompany all the production, many of my production from my blog, at least until on late February, starting of March, I will open my Saatchi Art profile. So, because as before said, an art collector is not an impulsive buyer. He or she needs to evaluate the the author, above all if he or she is new, and being new has a value because a new author of artwork makes lower prices. They have to see if he or she is serious, will work in the time even after they buy it, so that what they buy will gain value. That is the art collector gamble, I'd say. And thus my and each one art the website has to be good to show how competent and motivated I am about my art field, the motivation of my photos, what is my fight with the images that I'm making. Doing these art history articles, it will be very good, I suppose. I say that I'm really confident. This said, let's hope that this goes well. We'll know only when my such art profile will be open and I will start to sell there my artwork. We shall see, but I'm confident anyway. Closing this second, we'll go to the third and last subject. That is my project Celebration 25. Something that can happen or cannot happen. Depends, because this end of the year is very busy for me with deadlines of open calls. I have 4 for what I gathered until now. On one I sent the material and I'm waiting a response. So there are other 3. One is a selection for an American USA publication. 2, very interesting thing, will be my first chance to be exhibited in an offline gallery in Tucson, Arizona, USA. I don't know if I will be selected, but I think that selection can happen. I don't know, but as my first publication on Style Cruise magazine, I knew no one in the crew of that magazine. I don't know no one in Arizona, also for this in USA personally. I have no guarantee, but in the past I've been selected, sometime I've been selected, and who knows, I will bring there for the first a selection from my light painting work. Those I know have been very successful in the past. The first and the second have been selected. Let's see, this third that to me is an improvement of my application of the light painting. We'll see, I hope. And all this to say that if I succeed at least in part, these 4 last chances to be selected, then looking at 2025, I will be able to say I've 10 international publications at least. One web exhibition that was Nudus 2025. It happened. Maybe some other publication or my very first offline gallery exhibition. That is a thing that needs a celebration. And how do you intend to celebrate? My idea was and is I will do a selection of 12 images from the ones that has been published or exhibited. And I will make a 2026 calendar. I will find a good printer service that can produce these calendars. It will be an art calendar, obviously, with my art in artistic images. And I will put it at 25 euros. But my Patreon supporters or higher tiers will receive a discount of 25%. This is the idea, an idea that needs things to happen, because I want to close. The celebration needs to be till the end. I want to close this year with some good news, and if this goes well, I will do it. I will produce this calendar, and I would be very happy to do it. So stay tuned and see what next blog on my website is said. We close with the next things that I'm waiting to happen, aside those four that I've said, those four open calls that I am working to answer them. I will have in December, in the first half of December, 2 new model shoots. It will be interesting. Why? Because the last open call that ends on December 12th has a theme, the theme red as an emotion, passion, danger, or other concepts related to color red. I don't have nothing especially now for this, so the first of the model shoot that I have is on December the 5th. Having this model shoot on the 5th day of December, I will do something. I have already my ideas. I'll do something about producing art nude work for this possible second exhibition, but I will have to rush the editing work. It will be interesting. It's not impossible. 5 to 12 is 7 days. I can do it, I know. More or less, these are the things that I see I will have to do next month. Don't see much more. Obviously, I will continuing editing, producing photography, art photography, history articles. Next month there will be the last podcast episode of this year, sure. So I will have to inform you of what went good and what not. And well, for now it's all, I think. Thank you if you continued to listen until now. I appreciate it. Stay well, shine on, per aspera ad astra.